Imagine going down to the river's edge. It's a fast-moving river. You take your canoe, you put it in the river, paddles already inside, and you deliberately point your canoe upstream and begin paddling very hard. And we always say, when we see you do that, why not turn it around and go with the flow? And most of you say, well, that seems a bit lazy to me. And anyway, everybody I know is paddling upstream, and I don't want to stand out and be weird. It seems that our society is based on paddling upstream, and I would not be thought well of if I didn't. They'd call me lazy. And even though, as you say, I'd get everything I want because everything I want is downstream, still, what others think of me is really important. So I think I'd rather struggle and suffer like the rest of them. Because there's reward in that, you know. When you dig a really deep hole and get yourself in it, when you crawl out, people clap. And I have never, ever had anyone praise me for just floating. They say anybody can do that, but it takes a virtuous person to struggle and persevere and suffer. And we say, well, how long can you keep it up? I don't know, but I'm willing to try. Oh, I get tired, but I go to meetings for that. We encourage each other. We've streamlined our boats, you know. We have bigger, longer oars now. We can hook our oars into the boat so it's easier. I've got this stuff on my hands so I don't get calluses quite so much. It's working out pretty well. Well, are you having a good time? No. It isn't fun. It isn't fun at all. But everyone does it. And we say, why not just let go of those oars? You don't have to paddle downstream. Just let go of the oars and let the current take you. And the reason that we want you to get a picture of this is because we understand the stream. We know what that stream is. That stream is the life force that is you. That stream is the calling of source. That stream is your becoming. That stream is taking you to everything you want, but even more important, it's taking you to the you that your life has caused you to become. And when you don't go, that is the reason for your struggle, you see. When you don't let yourself go with what is natural to you, that's what feels uncomfortable. And so we're doing a bit of a sales job here. We're really wanting to appeal to your logic. We want you to feel the power of who you are, and we want you to recognize that if you think back, everything that ever turned out in a magnificent way always felt like it was downstream. Those things that unfolded easily, those things that called you, those things that inspired you, those things that you said hell yes to, those things that you felt enthusiasm for, those things, when you followed those things, they always turned out well. And you've got to admit that there was not one thing that you ever worked hard at, that you ever struggled hard at, that was ever hard when you started it and hard in the middle and hard in the end, hard, that ever turned out well. It just defies law. When you go against the current, the best you can do is bang it out slightly better than the next person who's banging it out. And don't you find that a remarkable thing that you use as your measure for life? It's like saying, all right, let's all of us who have handicapped ourselves tremendously by going against the current, let's all of us line up and see who can resist the current the best. And we say, turn and go with the flow and experience the joy of life and realize that your life is carving out for you the expansion of you. And when you let yourself go with it, you will feel ever so much better. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important. We want you to understand that this meeting has gathered before you dragged your physical bodies here. In other words, you have launched into vibrational escrow what you are about and what you want. And so it is our promise to you that it will be a perfect unfolding where what you want to know will be addressed fully. There is a slight variation about how much of it you will actually hear. That will sort of depend upon how in the flow you are. If you will relax and not allow yourself to feel frustration about not getting called on, if you will accept that we know what it is you want to talk about and we are answering you completely, and you will just sit with an ear to hear, it is our promise to you that everything that you have brought yourself to the place of wanting to know will be fully addressed here today. We want you to realize that in the same way that you have a vibrational escrow that is the fullness of all that you have become, there is a collective consciousness vibrational escrow also. The vibrational escrow of this gathering is a beautiful thing to behold. And the mass consciousness has vibrational escrow, and it too is a beautiful thing to behold. Future generations will benefit mightily by this vibrational escrow that you all are creating. Think about it. You were source energy, you came into a physical body, you had contrasting experiences, you asked for more, which source became. And it is from that new source having become vantage point that all new energy is coming forth into new babies. Nice to know. So your participation is of enormous value to all that is, whether you ever let yourself go with the flow or not. This gathering is not about fixing anything, because that's working perfectly. This gathering is about one thing and one thing only: helping you figure out little by little how to turn and go in direction of the flow. That's it. It isn't about getting there. We don't have to teach you how to get there. We just have to teach you how to drop the oars. That's all. Art of allowing, drop the oars. That's all. Let go of the struggle, and when you do, the current will turn you and take you. Jerry and Esther had the wonderful experience last month of going whitewater rafting in a very fast-flowing Colorado River. Many of the falls were rated 4s, many of them 3s. Not much slow water on this river. And as they got into the boat, they looked at each other and said, "We must have lost our minds." Because it was obvious to them that this current had a mind of its own. And there was nothing that they were going to be able to do that was going to cause the river to be other than it was. It was a fast-moving flow. They never considered for a moment paddling upstream. It just wasn't an option. The stream was moving so fast. Something very important occurred to them as they were riding these rapids that day, and that was anything in the river that was not going with the flow was making very big geysers, big boulders standing out there in the middle of the stream, not going with the flow. And when the water crashed against those rocks, it was a big deal. In fact, it was such a big deal, they didn't want to be anywhere near it. And we're wanting you to understand that in the same way that that river was flowing, and the only thing that was causing the consternation or what could be trouble, so much trouble that they signed a 4-page release form. Right above Esther's name, she wrote, "So basically you're telling me I probably am not going to survive this." It was incredible what they made them sign. Esther finally said, "I'm not going to read it, I'm just going to sign it. Whatever they think is fine." As Jerry and Esther realized that these big rocks were not moving, it made them even more aware of what they've been hearing us say, that there's only one stream that's flowing, only one stream. There's not a stream of evil that is pulling you against the stream of wellness. There's just an occasional boulder standing in the stream that isn't moving. And then you call it the source of badness. There's no source of badness. You don't walk into a room and look for a dark switch. You don't expect to flip a switch and make inky, misty darkness cover up the light. You know that you could resist the light, but there's nothing that's going to cover it up. And there's not an opposing stream of well-being. There's just not going with the stream that's flowing. And we know how it feels to you. In other words, if the stream is really, really flowing and you're standing there like a rock rooted to the bottom of it, that stream's beating you up pretty good. And you say, now I'm sick. And we say, you're not sick, you're battered by the stream. And you say, well, why would a well-meaning stream, if this is the stream of source, if this is a stream of love, if this is a stream of God, then why is it beating me up? And we say, because you've got your feet nailed to the floor. Because you're not letting the stream carry you to the place that you ask it to go. Do you know why the stream is flowing? You ask it to flow. So now what you're saying is, why is the stream that I asked to flow beating up on me for not flowing? Ooh, do you like that? Why is the stream that I set into motion beating me up because I'm not going with what I set into motion? That's as clear as you'll ever hear it. The answer is, duh. It's beating you up because you're not going with it. It's beating you up because you're working against yourself. It's beating you up because you said, I want to go, and then you didn't go. And you have to begin understanding that source and God force, all of that creative energy, hears you at your word. When life causes you to prefer something, the stream goes toward what you prefer. And when you don't go there, you feel bad. And so you can begin to figure out who you were before you were born into this body by testing the stream. Test yourself against the stream. Look in the mirror and look at yourself and find flaw after flaw after flaw and come to a place of contempt and feel how that feels. And as you feel that blame and guilt and that knot up inside of you, then say, I must not be going with the flow, which must mean source feels differently about me than the drum I'm beating right now. Choose someone else. Hate them. Find fault with them. Point out their wrongdoing. And feel how you shrivel and die a little inside because you're not going with the flow. Feel how the stream beats you up. Then find something to appreciate and just focus on it a little while and feel how you begin to loosen up. Feel how good it feels. Show yourself what's in that stream. Show yourself not only who you were before you were born, but who you've become ever since. Show yourself who the expanding God within you is. Show yourself that and feel how that feels. And you will never again question who you are. You will never again not know which way is downstream. You will never again not know which way is the way to go.